The Scout name has been out of the automotive world for over 40 years now, but today the brand gets its full revival with the introduction of two brand new concept cars, the Terra and the Traveler. They're part retro, part future, and we have a whole lot of questions, so let's dive in. All right, so you see this offset logo on the grille right here? Scout says that this is like an artist signing off on their painting. All right, we thought that was a little bit dramatic, but then we saw it in person and this just looks so dang cool. But the Traveler here isn't some resto mod or has really anything to do mechanically with the Scouts of the past. This is a mid-size SUV that's gonna be available as a full electric vehicle or with a gas-powered range extender. More on that in a bit. The original Scout Harvester had an inline 4-cylinder with 92 horsepower. Little different this time around. The new Traveler will have 2 electric motors and 1 giant battery pack. No word yet on horsepower, but with up to 1,000 pound-feet of torque available, Scout says it should hit 60 in as little as 3.5 seconds. As an EV, Scout says that the Traveler should, well, travel 350 miles, but they will also sell you a gas-powered range extender, which should get you around 500 miles. All right, we gotta take a look at this thing up close because I love the details. Now, I've already heard people say it looks like a Bronco or a Rivian. Parts of that are true, but this is absolutely its own thing, and it looks distinct with its own identity. I love right here that the headlights are surrounding this horizontal line daytime running light. They probably could have gone for some circular headlights, you know, like the old Scouts, but that would have made it look maybe a bit too much like a Bronco. This, on the other hand, looks fantastic and super strong. I also love that the skid plate down here protrudes into the front fascia and the whole thing just looks very much in your face. But that's not my favorite angle. Come over here to the side profile, a few things stick out at me right away. Super duper short front overhang. Now that's obviously good for off-roading, but the proportions just look really bold because of it. They say that this will accommodate up to 35-inch tires, and it'll be good to do 3 feet of fording water and 1 full foot of ground clearance. Now, something I like at the very, very back of the vehicle, obviously a full-size spare in your face, mounted on the rear, looks fantastic, very off-road, but the full taillight actually surrounds this entire area of the vehicle, and there's a huge rear light bar up here. When you see it at night and the whole thing's illuminated, it looks fantastic. The Traveler is built on an all-new platform. It's a body-on-frame SUV with some great off-road hardware, a solid rear axle, 2 locking differentials, and a disconnecting front sway bar, just to name a few things. All right, let's talk about that range extender for a second. I was just talking with one of the product people for this, and I was asking, if this vehicle has a frunk, like they say it's going to, then where does that leave space for a range extender? It's probably going to be something as big as a 3 or 4-cylinder gas-powered engine, and you have to have a fuel tank too. So I thought, is it going to go back here? Is it going to go at the front where a traditional engine would go? The answer is that they don't really know, at least not yet. They say that the range extender will make production no matter what, but as to where it is going to fit in the overall packaging, we'll see. All right, that caught my eye right away. Now, an old school compass might not be the world's most functional thing in a modern vehicle, but it sure does look cool. And this interior is full of those kinds of details. Look at this. You press in right here, little table pops out for you as a passenger. It's small things like that that make a big difference in these new futuristic off-roaders. This interior immediately just catches my eye. This looks like somebody at Rivian went to art school and just pushed the envelope a little bit more. Now, how much of this is going to make the actual production vehicle? We're not sure yet, but as an early first look, there's a lot here to like. The software and the hardware stuff is completely different from Volkswagen. Remember that Volkswagen is the money behind this product. So if you were expecting to see something like out of an ID4, I'm really glad that it's not. Instead, they've gone a very different direction with tons of buttons and knobs, which is something that truck and SUV buyers like. They don't like doing everything in the screen. Now, as far as the software, we know that Rivian and Volkswagen do have a partnership that's going to be coming together in the future. But as for this product, we have no idea if there's going to be any Rivian integration just yet. All they say is that it'll be OTA capable and very, very configurable. All right, here in the backseat, you might be wondering why there's so much light coming in, and that is the optional cabana top. Look at how much light this brings in. It's one of the largest roof openings of any SUV on sale. It's kind of like what Jeep has done with the Wrangler. It makes this thing a pseudo convertible. Very cool option to have. Also, check this out. Now that we have the tailgate open, I can show you that it is a split fold, just like a Range Rover, which of course gives you a really nice place to sit and hang out when you're out adventuring. The obvious elephant in the room here is the upcoming Rivian R2. Rivian's second SUV appears to be a little bit smaller than the Scout, but pricing for rear drive models is also said to start at about $45,000 before incentives. We figure that means at least $5,000 cheaper than the Scout for comparable all-wheel drive versions. Rivian claims that the top range tri-motor R2 will hit 60 in under 3 seconds, at least half a second ahead of the quickest Scout, and over 300 miles of range. All right, now let's move on to the Terra, AKA the truck. Now there's a lot here that's shared with the Traveler SUV, so the range extender, a lot of those details like the off-road hardware. So let's talk about what's specific to the truck. Obviously, a bed is specific to the truck. Now, I can already hear some of you saying, this is just a Rivian, this is just a Rivian. Yeah, there are some similarities, but there's some differences as well. This has a 5.5-foot bed. Rivian has a 4.5-foot bed, so some added practicality here. This can also handle up to 2,000 pounds of payload. That's more than an R1T. The Terra is rated to tow up to 10,000 pounds. That's in the mix with some of the electric trucks on the market, not class leading as of yet, but it's still pretty good specs overall. All right, so this is a very early model of what the Terra will look like. So not everything is functional just yet, but they say when it hits production, it will have a few different power outlets out here, a few 120 plugs and 240s. So you'll be able to power tools, accessories, appliances, all that kind of stuff. There's also gonna be multiple tonneau cover options, maybe including a power one as well, just like the Rivian. Now let's walk up to the front area. This is arguably where some of the most creativity was spent on this truck. I love what I'm seeing here. There are 2 plugs underneath here. There's an air compressor on this side, and underneath here is an area that you can use to tailgate. This is your cooler. You can drop some ice in here and use this entire area to hang out before a game. Not only that, but there's a good amount of space up here to drop extra bags in addition to the bed. So like I said, about 350 miles of electric range for the Traveler and the Terra. But beyond that, we don't know too much about the specifics. Scout claims that they can charge at a crazy quick 350 kilowatts from the right power source. They can also support bi-directional charging. That means you can use the juice in the battery to charge other things. The Scout Duo will also come exclusively with Tesla NACS charging ports. Both the Traveler and the Terra are intended to go into production sometime in 2027, and they're supposed to start around $60,000, but they could be cheaper with available government incentives. If these vehicles were going on sale tomorrow, I think they'd be smash hits, no-brainers. But 3, maybe 4 years down the road, who knows what is going to be around by then? That's going to be a big challenge for Scout. But what do you think? Let us know in the comments, and as always, thanks for watching.